All right, everybody, welcome out. I'm sorry, welcome out. It's not welcome out. That's last night. Tonight, it's time for the End of Chaser Beer and Spirits Pairing Show. It is Wednesday. Why is it playing again? Oh, let's play it again. I like that. Oh, you know what? We'll take it over again. We'll do it again. It's playing again. Did it happen again? Did you hear it? Or you were hearing nothing? You heard nothing. That's because it was in my ears. And it didn't play again on the show. We'll start again now. All right. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. Jam with me, guys. All right, everybody, it's time for the End of Chaser Spirits and Beer Pairing Show, Take 2. There we go. We just get it right for the audio podcast. Anyway, those of you watching right now, you can laugh. It is Wednesday, March the 5th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai and the Beer Whisperer and Whiskey Whisperer.
How are you
this evening?
How we doing?
Yeah, we did it again, so we can. It's less editing for me in the audio feed, right? I figured out this happened once before, and I figured out what it was. See, Restream in its infinite wisdom doesn't allow me to post this directly to the Facebook page for End of Chaser, so I have to go into YouTube and take the YouTube feed and post that. Right? Every time I leave the YouTube feed open, it plays again for me. Did you hear it playing?
And if you had taken us off mute when you were asking questions, we could have answered you.
You didn't hear anything.
We could hear it in your mic coming from your headphones. But it wasn't on the show. I don't know if you.
So I have to remember anytime we do that, I have to remember to close that YouTube feed. Otherwise, I'm going to hear it. And the same thing's going to happen.
Also, don't ask us questions.
Anyway,
you're probably not going to get an answer.
There you go. I got the private chat right here. Stop asking us questions when we're on mute.
Well, and the other thing is John's looking down to try to fix the problem, and I'm doing this to, and he's not paying it. He's trying to fix a problem that's actually only in his head.
Literally. Quite literally.
There's something wrong with his medulla. Oh, that was yesterday's show.
Yeah. That was yesterday's show. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So anyway, yes. Anyway, how are you, gents, tonight? It is pouring here in Belmar, like literally, like torrential rains right now.
Yeah, it's been pouring here all day. High winds. It's been umbrella-killing weather.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, well, tonight is our St. Patrick's Day show. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day season.
It is the beginning of the St. Patrick's Day season, that is for sure. And it kicked off in Belmar 3 days ago with Parade Day, first parade in New Jersey. Always fun time. A little cold this past Sunday.
You have something
it was fun. Tonight, March. This is true.
I'm sure it's been
very true. Last year was almost 80 degrees. Last year, it really was. So anyway, we are doing a couple of things tonight. We're doing cocktails with Irish whiskey. We're doing Dry Irish Stout. That is not Guinness, but we're going to start it off with the car bombs. We're each going to do a car bomb. So let's make our car bombs. What are you gents? What beer are you gents using?
So I'm putting an American spin on it. I'm using the Black Bush as the whiskey, but I'm using Banter American Stout as my stout.
There you go.
I think we're all kind of doing something. We're all staying local.
As well, for my I'm not using an Irish cream. I'm using a Tiakida bourbon cream.
Very nice. I like that.
Tiakida bourbon cream. Oh wow. Just opening this.
I'm using Ghost Hawk's Raven Dark, with an export stout.
Yes.
So
you are.
It's a
that is a good beer.
And for my whiskey, I am using Bushmills. So
Your whiskey using Bushmills. There you go. For my whiskey, I'm using a fresh bottle of Patty's.
Because we just watched
You just watch me open it. I am using Bailey's as well. Yes, I don't have any Bailey's. No need for it right now, so I just grabbed an airplane bottle for this. And I'm using locally right here, Kane Brewing.
That is one of my favorite beers.
Poured on.
That was one of the first 2 beers on my kegerator.
Yeah, yes, it was. And yes, and I know what the other one was.
Carton Boat beer.
That would be correct. All right, so let me pour mine here.
All
right, and
poured mine a little foamier than I intended.
A little foamier.
So you intended some
foam. Let me.
Beer, you want a little bit ahead.
Well,
who knows? But nevertheless, all right.
I've got a joke about that, but it's Ash Wednesday, and that'd be extremely sacrilegious if I did that and disrespectful. So I'm gonna let that one go.
Very true.
You cut out, Tom. I didn't hear you.
If you can't make fun of Catholics, who can you make fun of?
No, this one's pretty bad, so I'm gonna.
And I say that as a recovering Catholic.
There you go. I don't think it was. Yeah, it's true, but I don't think. I'm guessing because I don't know what he was going to say, but I'm guessing that what he was going to say isn't so much making fun of Catholics as it was blasphemous.
Okay.
So
we're somewhere in between. All right. So, and I just want to show my shot glass. It's actually a distillery up in Everett, Massachusetts, north of Boston.
Very nice. And I had to convince John yesterday that the logo would not come off in the beer and give him brain cancer.
Okay, stop it. Anyway, so
now
are we ready?
So someone needs to count it off. Are we dropping on 3? Or are we dropping on go?
1, 2, 3.
Drop
1, 2,
on
3.
3.
Go on 3.
So you
1,
guys
2,
ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready right now.
Ready.
Okay.
Right
1,
now.
2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Well, that was delicious, man.
I love car bombs.
Let's do another one. No, I'm kidding.
No.
We can. I got more beer.
But
we wanted to also talk about cocktails for this with
nice.
Irish whiskey.
That was very nice.
I'm going to make my cocktail in front of you, so you guys just let me know when you're ready for me to start.
Go ahead. And start.
I made my.
Unless, John, if yours is made and you want to.
No. I didn't make
Okay, go ahead then. If it's okay with you guys, I'll go ahead and tell you what I got going on here.
You go right ahead.
And I'm using the Black Bush. This is their reserve version of.
Oh, crud. I forgot ice.
I have some extra.
Yeah, I'll walk around so they can't see me on camera. I'm sorry, Tom. Go right ahead while I grab my ice.
So the secret ingredient here, I think you guys might like what I tried to do here. Is so I've got the whiskey. So my simple is actually a stout reduction simple. Stout that I'm drinking, I took 16 ounces of it and I made a reduction, got it all the way down to 1 ounce, and I added a simple to it to give it a little bit of sweetness. So that's what I got going on here. I tried to get a little clever with y'all.
You took 16 ounces of a stout. You reduced it down to 1 ounce. Wow, that's
what I missed. What did you concentrate?
I'm going to tell you what I did here. And
he just did a little concentrating the other day.
1 ounce of that syrup, and I'm going to show you the bitters I'm going to be using, and I'm using root beer bitters. And I'll tell you why, because when I reduced that stout down, it brought out a lot of herbal notes. And I had my wife taste it. She was picking up like sassafras. So I thought, well, this root beer bitters would be perfect for that. So again, 2 ounces of the whiskey, 1 ounce of the simple, a couple dashes of those root beer bitters. The only thing I couldn't figure out, in all honesty, is the garnish. I couldn't figure out what to use for a garnish, so I'm not using a garnish. But I'm going to pour this, and I think you're going to like my glass too.
You have a nice glass.
Glass. It's a very old glass, but you know me. It's my old Bushmills glass.
Very nice.
So that's what that
That's
drink
wonderful.
is. So I just chilled it, serving it straight up.
Mhm.
But I couldn't figure out what to do for garnish. If I had a sassafras stick, I would have used that. But
Oh, how do you know?
Sassafras what? I thought he said a sassafras dick. There was such a thing.
Wait a second, Tom. You don't have sassafras sticks just sitting around your house?
Well, not this time of year.
You know you could use a piece of...
This time, usually the fall, I think, is when my wife collects them.
So you play with your sassafras dick in the fall.
But anyway, but that's why I decided, because I had cocoa bitters, I had a few other things. I said, no, I'm going to go with those root beer bitters. And that really brings out those herbal notes. And this thing is, this is just delicious, man.
Nice.
That was very cool.
Nice.
So this is Irish whiskey, a concentrated stout, and root beer bitters. Did I miss something, Tom?
Okay, yes. Irish whiskey,
Concentrated
concentrated stout syrup, and root beer bitters.
and root beer bitters.
Very nice.
Very nice. So what do you got, Samurai? I'll make mine on camera.
I was doing it while Tom was talking, and
The rest of my stout in here while you guys are doing your thing.
so what I was thinking when I made this one, because I was trying to figure out, we do these car bombs, and we do the car bombs. You've got the Irish cream, the Bailey's Irish cream, which is just whiskey cream, right? That's all it is.
Sure.
And I wanted to do something based off of, the depth charge that goes into a car bomb.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you know what? And if you noticed when we had the teaser posted yesterday for the show, I'm calling this a Swarthy Irishman.
Swarthy Irish.
I'll tell you the name of my drink. I'm calling it Shamrock and Awe.
Shamrock and Awe.
Because I've got a little bit of an American spin in there, you see. Shamrock, an American stout, Shamrock and Awe.
But this is called the Swarthy Irishman because it is a take on the White Russian. So rather than vodka, I am putting in Irish whiskey. Rather than cream or half and half, I'm using Irish cream, Bailey's Irish cream, and instead of Kahlua, I'm using Kahlua.
So wait, let's get this straight. You replaced the Kahlua.
Actually, technically, I replaced it with Camorra, which is another coffee liqueur. But
There you go. So say that. So in place of Kahlua,
I'm using Camorra.
Not
the green person from
were you using Kahlua?
No. But also, this is, if you think about it, this is pretty much an all alcohol Irish coffee as well. So my garnish is a floated. If you can see this here, get this up there. There we go.
No, you
I put a couple of coffee beans.
Floated beans. Yeah.
Oh, nice. What? Look at that. That's brilliant. I like that.
3 for luck.
3 for luck.
You're so cool.
3 for the shamrock. Or I put it 4 for a 4-leaf clover.
I did pour just my bourbon cream using my Tiakida glass.
Very nice.
And
this one,
perfect.
See, we use the components. Now I have to show each component on its own, you see.
There you go.
Of course. All right. I will make mine. I was originally going to make, and I told Dave this yesterday.
You're not doing what you were going to do yesterday? I was excited for that.
Change it up.
I'll make it again. For that one.
I was too, but alas,
a lady.
Alas, yeah. I thought I had my homemade lime juice. Still had it, but I did not, and I was not going to run back out. So this was the second cocktail I was going to make, and I wanted to make it anyway because I've been doing. Not that was an old fashioned, right? It was.
What do you mean by homemade lime juice?
Well,
fresh squeezed lime juice.
Okay.
Fresh
Very
squeezed lime
loose woman. Homemade.
I grew the limes myself, and I squeezed them myself.
That vodka was homemade.
There you go. Anyway, fresh squeezed lime juice. There you go.
I see.
Our shirts on today, though.
But it's like a super juice too, because I do it in like a froth or so, and then another day, another story. Anyway, so what I'm doing is a take on a Rob Roy.
Gotcha. I follow it. Yeah.
I'm doing a take on a Rob Roy. So
it's a take on a Manhattan, but yeah.
Which is a Rob Roy. A Rob Roy's Manhattan with Scotch. This is a Bobby O'Roy.
Not a patio Roy, a Bobby O'Roy.
Not a patio. I mean, we'll call it a patio Roy.
Yeah.
Because I'm using patty, so patio Roy. Patio Roy. So we're going to do.
So we got Shamrock and Patio Roy, and the Swarthy Irishman.
What?
We're
pretty clever for 3 old white guys.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rod called us wise men. Yeah,
3 wise men.
Look at the comments,
and he uses that term loosely.
Could they say that? A straight face.
Cheers, those 3 wise men. Yeah, well, hey. Okay. And then I'm going to use, of course,
the yardstick for wisdom these days is cracked and broken.
Exactly.
Kind of like the 3 of us. We're all cracked and we're all kind of broken.
And we're all kind of broken. Exactly.
Mm.
Oh, mercy.
So we got the equal parts of Patty's Irish whiskey and sweet vermouth. All right. And a couple of dashes of Angostura. Right. Now we will stir.
Stirred, not shaken.
Stir, not shaken.
Yes, he's Agent 700. He does everything backwards.
Exactly. I do everything backwards.
Exactly. Anyway, I digress.
Now, while I stir, I will take. Cheers, Rod. By the way, thank you very much.
Cheers, Rod.
Yeah.
We shall talk to you soon.
Shortly. All right. Yeah, we got enough stirring.
Enough banging.
Stand the spoon up. Enough banging. Did I bang?
Did you bang? She bangs.
That's kind of
she bangs. She bangs.
To that question, my wife's in the room.
Well, that's her fault to be on the room while we're on the air.
Strain it out into my coop.
Unless she's bringing you holiday candies and treats like she did on the holiday show, which was fantastic. And
which was fantastic, absolutely. And one little cherry.
Just a little one. Those big ones create too much of a splash.
They do, so. Cheers.
Slancha. We got to say
Slancha.
Slancha. Oh, that's good.
I'm trying to figure out if I should eat the coffee beans or not.
I like that.
Do I want to sleep?
Yeah, why
tonight?
not? I would
sleep last night. What the hell?
It's 6:42.
Start a trend.
Exactly. So in any event, so we got Patty O'Roy, we got Shamrock and Awe, and the Swarthy Irish. These are the 3 drinks. There we go. And of course, we got the rest of our.
And it's funny because I put the rest of my dry Irish stout in my
your cane glass. There you go. There you go.
John's drinking the can. I don't actually have a Ghost Hawk glass. I thought I did.
That's delicious.
This is very good.
I think we're all happy with our cocktails this week.
Yep. This is very good. I'm enjoying it.
But then again, I did like I usually do. Starting on the weekend, I start research for the cocktail. Yeah, and
preparing.
This one got down because think about it. A White Russian it's very simple. It's 2 parts of the liquor, right? 1 part cream, and half part the Kahlua, the coffee liqueur. And if you just 1-for-1 exchange it, this is what you get. And it's called Swarthy Irishman because a White Russian, and this is a little on the tanner side, and that's about.
Yeah, you can see when you hold it back.
That's about as tan as most Irishmen get.
I'm as tan as most Irish.
Yeah, exactly.
Tan's really more of a red.
Yes. Well,
I go straight from white to red, man.
you put an Irishman in the sun, they turn red, and then they want to go back and they want to get back into the tavern real quick. And the only time that they're out in the sun is only because they just happen to be a smoker. Other than that, the sun is not the fan of the Irishman. I'm lucky because I've got a bunch of Irish in my blood and all that. And my great grandmother was 100% Irish, but I'm also Cherokee Indian and Polish, so I can be out in the sun and not burn to a crisp. So that's nice.
Oh no, I burn instantly. I turn from white to red. There is no middle for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the inspiration for my cocktail actually came from my boss because he wanted me to take a can of that stout home and come up with a reduction of simple syrup to do a cocktail at work for St. Patrick's Day, which is how I came up with this. So let's see what it does.
That is awesome. You know what I would? I don't know what this popped in my head, but I would love to see you do that reduction with cherries put into it.
I'm sorry.
Do that reduction, but put cherries in it and see what that does.
Yeah. I thought about some other variations, but I want to do it just pure to bring that. Yeah, but yes, that does make sense with some cherries. I also thought of it with strawberries.
Yeah.
I've made a chocolate stout reduction before. Chocolate stout. I've actually used Samuel Smith's.
Organic. That is one of the most chocolate stouts.
Super chocolatey, right? So pour the whole thing in, and I don't get as egregious as Tom did. I don't take 16 ounces and make 1 ounce out of it. I don't take 16 ounces and make one drink out of it.
I do a reduction, baby. I do a reduction.
When you reduce, damn it, you reduce. There you go.
What I can tell you is I added 8 ounces of simple back to it. So I did pure simple. I got that reduction down, and I slowly added the simple till I got to the flavor I wanted.
And Tom's wife heard from the kitchen, "Honey, I shrunk the stout."
I shrunk the stout. There you go.
I'll tell you, my poor puts up with a lot of crap for me making a big mess in the kitchen.
The woman's a saint. All of our significant others are saints. We don't just say that.
100%. All right. So here's the thing.
Why is there always a thing?
But I've taken it right. Well, I poured all, but this is what I'm saying. I don't like what Tom did. I understand what he did, but I don't just reduce the beer, right? I'll reduce the beer, but I add in Demerara sugar.
Okay.
I didn't want to do that for a lot of reasons. I just wanted to reduce the beer just to see what I ended up with. I wanted to know what that flavor was. And like I said, then I did simple, and I slowly added the simple back to it rather than add the sugar to the reduction. Yeah, I wanted to know what that was going to give me.
So how dare you use the scientific process? Science?
Because I'm for being too bright, so I think when I do something smart accidentally.
We don't do science in this country anymore. Science is anathema in this country. Don't even bother. But I agree with you. You've got to get your base first. You've got to understand what it's like. That's why anytime I'm developing any kind of cocktail, the two major flavors that I want, I put in there 50-50. Or 50, 1 and 1 to a half, whatever seems to make sense. Start off there with the base, and then adjust from there. And see, do I need an acid? Do I need a bitter? Do I need a cream? What do I need in this? Right.
I'm curious to do it. I'm curious to do it Tom's way too. They get a super concentrated chocolate
slowly
syrup, and then slowly
just to see what it gave me. Yeah, and my wife picked it out before I did. Actually, she was getting herbal notes. I said, "Okay, now I got it. I got it."
Now you reduced it down and then let it cool. And then you had that 1 ounce, and cool. You added in the simple syrup.
Yeah.
Or cool. Okay. You didn't do it while you were reducing.
I got it down to as much as I got down to that 1 ounce, and I let that cool completely, then just slowly added the simple back to it.
Now, just so you know, and I know I keep saying I'm going to do this, sharing the outline for the upcoming cocktail recipe book that we're going to make. But a good portion of this cocktail book, towards the beginning, when we get into it, will be methodologies. The method to our madness is the things, how we go about doing the crazy ass shit that we do.
Yep.
Right. Tom's got his ways of doing things. I got my ways of doing things. John likes things in a can. You're never living that down, Johnny.
Now we're getting
One
time. That's
time.
all it takes.
One
shady on
time.
this show. I won't king shame you.
No, I think can shaming is real. Can shaming is real. No,
One time in a pinch when it was needed and necessary for the
Dude.
show to go on. Damn it! I took the I dropped the ball, but I picked it up
and bit the bullet.
Don't joke.
Step on the grenade.
Nobody's going to call you the tire guy. You could run a mile. Nobody's going to call you the guy that runs a mile. But you suck one cock, all of a sudden you're a cocksucker for life.
That's it. That's it.
Tom, you talking from personal experience? What do we? I know.
There you go. Well, it was in Tijuana. It was light. It was dark. He was confused. It's like,
It was Southern California. I needed the money.
Hey, cheers! Cheers!
His hair was long. He had. Oh. I'm already pairing my beer with my cocktail because
I've been pairing mine already.
Okay,
I've half done with both.
So what do you?
So now I'm working on my beers.
It's pairing
whiskey on
very
its
well.
own.
Now, Tom, your cocktail and your beer should probably go very well together, considering that your cocktails, one of the components is the beer.
Yes.
How did that work? Was there any cancellation? Was there enhancement?
So here, let me show you the beer here real quick. Yeah. So the interesting part about that is when I've had this beer several times, and I love the big malty notes of roasted barley, and I don't know that I've ever really noticed the herbal notes until I reduced that down. And it's so now that after tasting that and now tasting the beer, now I'm tasting those herbal notes in the beer that I wasn't getting before.
I see.
Gotcha. All right. I'm obviously this is coming from whatever hops they use in that particular stout.
Interesting.
That's interesting. You should find out. Obviously, that's it.
Yes.
Right. So you should ask him what hops he uses in that stout. I'd be curious to find out what's giving it that much of a floral note in a reduction.
What before was getting herbal.
Very interesting.
Well, herbal rather than floral. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a slight difference there.
Okay.
I don't know. Sassafras.
So you're getting herbal out of both. I'm sorry, I misconstrued it. So herbal out of the syrup and floral out of the beer, or herbal out of both?
Well, here's the question. I was saying sassafras. So would you say sassafras is more herbal or botanical?
I'd say it's herbal. I'd say herbal.
Botanical.
It's kind of
That drives the line.
Either way, I'm getting the herbal / botanical notes that I wasn't getting before.
Tom has made his point. very.
So, to answer your question, because I went a long way around the barn, I found that they did pair very well together. But the more that I drank the whisk or the cocktail and then went to the beer, the more I was picking out those herbal / botanical notes. But probably because that was what was on my mind.
What's interesting though is when
Right.
you take herbal and botanical, you put them together, and that is almost the definition of. And you add alcohol, it's almost the definition of medicinal. And I've always found sassafras to be a little more on the medicinal flavor, not in the bad way that we associate that term with.
See, it's all perception, right? Because I don't get that from sassafras. I can see where you go to herbal. I feel it's more botanical for me, but I can see where you get the herbal. But I never got medicinal out of it.
I get a little medicinal out of sassafras.
I get more botanical and herbal, but it does have medicinal purposes.
As it does some other stuff.
Tom is a people pleaser.
Today only. Usually he's a pot stirrer and a people poker.
I may make another one of these. This is really good.
So, at any rate, So Raven Dark, being an export stout, is really, really roasty.
That is a very
roasty beer. So it didn't really work too well as a car bomb because
This is not. This is a,
Oh, I know.
This is a nice.
Porto is beautiful, smooth.
Yeah.
It is smooth as hell. But this beer is one of the challenging roasty stouts out there. So as a car bomb, this was a poor choice.
Okay, good.
Because there's a nice marriage between like an Irish dry, the Irish whiskey, and the Irish cream. In this one, the beer went, "Fuck off, you hosers." Yeah.
I'm in charge here.
But when you put the coffee into, basically what is like I said, the depth chart that goes into a car bomb.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. I'm thinking that I'm gonna like that. I'm thinking I'm gonna do. Was it? Did you do equal parts?
I did it. It's the classic. Like I said, it's the classic. White Russian. So it's 2 parts of the spirit, 1 part of the cream. God bless you, Tom.
Nothing.
Bless you.
That would jump on me.
2 parts of the 2 parts of the spirit, 1 part of the cream, and half part of the coffee liquor. I just happened to dump.
I was gonna say, if you did that, that's true. If you did equal parts of everything, it's gonna be.
You don't want to do that. You only want a half ounce.
So 2 1/2.
1/2. Yes, that's the way you want to do it, and it comes out like this. It is gorgeous, and when you marry it with a very, very roasty stout, the roasty stout is still it's basically becomes all roast.
Gotcha.
And it makes this a little on the sweeter side, which is nice. And I like the way these marry up. And the thing is, when you drink this, the alcohol sense comes out a little bit more in the cocktail.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
You got to remember, every ingredient in here has alcohol in it.
Yeah.
I like those.
It's a 100% alcoholic drink. There's nothing but it's not 100%
alcohol, of course.
But obviously, there's more alcohol in the Irish whiskey than there is in the.
There's more alcohol in this than it would be in a traditional White Russian. White Russian is just half and half or cream. If you are, if you're a Lebowski follower, it's half and half, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know people that use milk or whatever.
I use half and half. There are some people that use heavy cream.
Heavy cream. Never use.
I got to go half and half. But when I use half and half, I go a little bit over that 1 part. So it's 2 parts vodka. It's about 1.5 part half and half, and half part the coffee liqueur.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
You also got to feel.
And that is the Samurai Russian.
How I do it. But if you notice, I didn't put it in the traditional rock glass that you normally put a White Russian in, only because I wanted to put it over ice. I wanted to stir it over ice, then strain it rather than have the ice in the glass. Which means the rock glass would have only been about half full, and that's not a good presentation. So I put it in.
Served our cocktail straight up tonight.
Serve it. No, shake it over ice. So it's.
Well, that's straight up.
Mine was stirred.
But it's served straight up with no ice in the glass. Is straight up.
Yes.
I have no ice in the glass.
So.
Are you saying all 3 of us did that tonight?
Yeah.
We all did that tonight. It's probably one of the
first time we've all been straight, despite Tom's declaration that he's a cocksucker.
Exactly. Well, it was only once in college.
He needed the money.
An observation.
And the dude was none the wiser because Tom had real long hair at the time.
He smoked the Tibet, he took the Quackaloo, and suddenly he's in fishnets and a lampshade.
And stilettos. Don't forget the stilettos.
With stilettos, yeah. That was a great part of that movie. That was a great movie to begin with. I'm talking about, of course, Billy Crystal and Robert De Niro. Analyze this. The first one. You. Yeah. Hey, you're an island. Yeah. You're a planet. Yeah. Hey, Easter weekend.
It's funny when you see like this, the serious actors go into the comedies, like De Niro, because it was actually Meet the Fockers where he first stepped into comedy, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Was Meet the
I
Fockers
think
before Analyze
yeah,
This?
maybe not.
Analyze This was 97, 98, something like that. And Analyze This was right before The Sopranos.
Right.
Well,
I remember this because The Sopranos came out in 99. So I think Analyze This was in 98. And I'm going to look because we have the technology. Yeah. Can you milk me?
Yeah, I don't know which one was first, but De Niro stepping into comedy was fantastic. That was absolutely amazing that he could pull that off. And there's a lot of
Meet the Parents was the first one.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Meet the Fockers was Meet the Parents was in 2000. Meet the Fockers was in 2004. And Analyze This was 98 or 99.
So that
was Analyze This. So Analyze This was the first one.
But yeah, I just love it when the serious actors decide they want to do comedy, and a lot of them really pull it off.
Mm-hmm. This was fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm enjoying this. I'm making another before the night is over.
I'm making another right now because I got a sports podcast.
You might as well be tanked.
I might as well be tanked.
Up for that, yeah.
Right now.
So sports podcast tonight. What are we talking about tonight, Johnny?
We're going to talk some hot stove baseball. We're going to talk a lot of the BS that's going on about the
baseball?
hot stove.
What is hot stove baseball as opposed to regular baseball?
Hot stove baseball?
I've never heard the term hot stove baseball. No.
Hot stove baseball is baseball that you talk about around a hot stove. So it's the winter.
So rather than water cooler, it's hot stove.
Exactly.
So pre-spring training baseball.
It goes on during spring training. So I mean, it's spring training baseball now, but it's basically hot stove right up until the first pitch of opening day.
What are your thoughts now about that? I don't mean to, jump into it early, but I'm a baseball guy. So what are you thinking?
I can't wait. I can't wait for opening day. Hope springs eternal. And you know what? I mean, I have high aspirations, but I'm grounding myself from that with the Mets this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But I will tell you this: I'm a baseball fan. I don't want to say I'm a baseball purist or anything like that, right? But I am a baseball fan to begin with. So it's not just like I can't wait for the Mets to start playing baseball. It's not that, right? I can't wait for baseball to start. And I can watch any game. I can watch any football game, but after a while, my attention gets drawn elsewhere. I can watch any baseball game, and as boring as some people think baseball is, it's not for me. I can watch any baseball game, and my attention is kept.
So for me, everybody wants to see home runs. For me, the best baseball game is a 1-0 pitcher.
1-0 game,
right?
Absolutely. A pitcher.
It's the difference between watching checkers and chess, right?
But the difference for the Mets fans this year is we have a lineup that should be launching balls to the moon. With Soto, they're re-signing a polar bear. We have got some sluggers on this team. Then re-signing polar bear was necessary for two reasons. One, he was a fan favorite. The fans loved him. That was one.
Oh, yeah.
Number two is when you got Juan Soto, you can pitch around him. But if you've got this guy who hits just as goddamn hard as Juan Soto does in front of him, you can't pitch around either one of them.
No, you can't. And the top of the lineup is amazing.
Lindor,
You got Lindor. You got Soto. You got Polar Bear. You got Pete Alonso. You got Vientos. You got Nimmo. I mean, you're at your sixth batter before you start to, come to decrease.
So, Tom, who's your team? Are you a Cardinals fan?
He's a Dodgers fan.
I go way back as a Dodger fan. I was born out there, raised out there, so I'll always be a Dodger fan. Love indifference. Yeah, I'm always a Dodger fan. But I will tell you, Johnny, that I am I'm a purist, though. I hate the fact that they've added the designated hitter to the National League.
I agree 100%.
100%. I do. I love the strategy of when you're pulling your pitcher, who you pulling,
the double
who
switch.
you putting in.
There's no double switch anymore. Double switch.
Now it's just
strategy of baseball. And they've done that for the small-minded folks that want to see nothing but home runs and don't understand what baseball is all about.
But as we know, our country has become small-minded.
Don't get me started, Dave.
Let's not start this.
Oh, please. Oh, I want to say something.
Hey, let's go back into shenanigan mode. Let's go back into shenanigan mode, okay? It's on. Shenanigan mode. Yeah. Here we go. Come on. See my new shirt? You like the new shirt? Like the new... This shenanigan mode shirt's old. It's the overshirt.
Oh, the overshirt. The overshirt. Oh, hold on. I need to put my glasses on to see the hold on there. We got this.
Yeah, we all got our Irish shirts on, man.
Oh yes, you've got. Is that a stout on there?
It's no, it's a pot of gold. There's rainbows. There's 4-leaf clovers.
There's no leprechauns. I don't see a leprechaun.
There's no leprechaun.
You know what? The Irish thank you that there's no leprechauns on there. They can't stand this whole leprechaun shit.
Exactly. And then of course, I'm wearing my Irish hat.
I'm as tall as a leprechaun is allowed to be.
There's a rule. Okay.
See,
you've obviously not seen the show American Gods, because the leprechaun in American Gods is about 6'4".
Okay.
That's fake news, man. There is no 6'4" leprechaun.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I remember being once at Double Tap Brewing, and Chris and I talking about making, when they have their St. Patrick's Day parties, having Jeff dress up as a leprechaun. Jeff is violently opposed against that. Because, well, Jeff's what? He's probably all of 5'2".
No, he's taller than that. He's probably 5'4", 5'5". Yeah, he's I mean, he's a foot shorter than me, right? But yeah, he's not that short. He's not 5'2". My sister-in-law is 5'2".
But he's smaller.
He is taller than her.
But he did not appreciate the conversation that Chris and I were having about well, because they were all, it was during Oktoberfest, they were all later.
It's my inner leprechaun.
There you go.
I got
Lederhosen.
Yeah. Leather.
You're Swedish, but you're wearing Lederhosen. Yeah, for sure, from Sweden.
Yeah. I need to get.
That was a great movie.
Carrie keeps telling me that I need to buy Lederhosen.
I'll tell you what. I will definitely invest in good Lederhosen when I go to Munich for Oktoberfest.
Cheers to that. Because if you go and you're not, it's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, it's so fucking campy and just so touristy to buy Lederhosen to go to Oktoberfest." No, it's expected. And if you show up at Oktoberfest and not in Lederhosen, they'll be like,
"Yeah." If I show up at Oktoberfest in jeans and a beer hoodie and a cap, Americans. Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, no, you absolutely have to wear the Lederhosen. The women have to wear the Deedles. They call them Deedles, right? Yeah, Deedles.
Deedles.
It should be a lot. I don't know. I don't particularly like a lot of big crowds and all that, but I may need to do that. I was in Munich. Yeah. What? 2 weeks after.
You know what? We should.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
It was after. But we have to. We have to. What we should do is we should get a bunch of people together
and hang with the Higginses.
And we got to stop by the Higginses 100%. Bring them some beer, have a few tip a few with them, and then go have our.
Tom, do you know who the Higginses are?
Yes.
And you know that they are in the shadow of the Paul Lanner Lowenbrow Brewery, I believe.
Yeah, Paul Lanner Lowenbrow. Yeah.
It's like if you walk to their front door, if you're inside, you walk to their front door, walk out and look left, all you can see is Lowenbrow Paulaner Brewery. It is just.
Hey, on that note, I have to sing it because
here
anytime
we
it's
go.
brought up, it just evokes memory.
Good friends.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer will hold. Must say something more somehow. So tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Yep, definitely one of those jingles.
Macro brew beer jingles from the 70s were some of the best jingles for commercials.
Now, Lowenbrow, the Lion's beer, plural, by the way, Lowenbrow.
So weekends were meant for Lowenbrow?
No. Weekends were meant for. Oh shit, that's a different jingle. That's a different. Wasn't Lowenbrow?
Well, it wasn't Lowenbrow. No, weekends were meant for. I got before I go nuts thinking.
Yeah, I'm not accessing that portion of my memory at this moment. Weekends were meant for, and I'm not sure it was a German beer.
Michelob.
Michelob?
Weekends were made for Michelob. Made, not meant. Made. Weekends were made for Michelob. I got to be honest with you. Now, I badmouth AB and Bev, and rightfully so. We all do, right? But that's besides the point. But as far as the beer goes, I can't stand Bud or Bud Light. Now, and I don't say that as a craft beer enthusiast, right? I couldn't stand Bud or Bud Light when I was, 16 in the early 80s. If somebody handed me a Bud, I didn't drink it because it gave me a headache, and not the next morning.
My theory behind that. And I was talking to somebody who was very ironically named because he worked for AB and at the time.
Yes, I know the man very well.
And I said to him, I said, the shock tops, which are brewed by Budweiser, are extremely flavorful, more flavorful than most beers should be, but they always give me a migraine. Budweiser gives me a migraine, which makes me that there's MSG in the beer. And he looked at me and went, as someone who works for the brewery.
Exactly. So, but on that note,
Tom, did you not pay your electricity bill? Why are you so damn? Or are you proving that an Irishman can be dark?
Oh, no, he's got this film noir
laying on the dark outside, but then it got dark, and there we go.
Oh, there we go. There's it.
Wasn't doing her job.
Oh, exactly. Tech support failed you.
Exactly. But on that note, and not on that note,
by the way, before I'm sorry, John, to kind of like hijack with your story here, but Tom, we just need your IT support is feeling well now. She's completely recovered.
Well, that's why I tell people that my wife is the brains, I'm the talent.
Sorry, I'm not laughing about her being the brain, but
no, he's laughing at you being the talent. That's what he's laughing at.
The sun coming in for the light, and the sun went down, and I wasn't paying attention. But then the lighting director came on and turned some light on, and
cheers.
And you look fantastic.
I'm sorry, so John, continue.
This is my lighting director.
All I was going to say is that Michelob was actually for a macro produced lager. Michelob was actually a good beer. I did enjoy drinking. Now I'm not talking about Mich Ultra or any of that crap. I'm talking about the years ago Michelob in that funky shaped bottle.
But it was referred to as high class Bud.
Yeah,
it was a good beer. It was a good beer. And when they made the Bock, that was a really good Bock beer.
But for me,
I mean, make no mistake. There's much better Bock beer from Germany, right? But for a Bock beer or Michelob, but a Bock beer produced by a macro beer company even at the time, it was amazing that they got that beer.
But I don't the American macros. I always preferred Miller. Miller Lite is the best adjunct light beer.
Yeah,
and
if I have to drink
good beer.
Yeah, but
compared to the other macros.
Right. Well, I if somebody says you have to drink an American made macro light
Miller.
beer, like you have to, it's Miller. It's Miller. Miller at least has flavor.
It almost tastes like beer.
It's close. It's close.
Almost tastes like
it's very close. I mean, Bud Light gives me a headache. Coors Light, it's water. Literally, it's water. I remember. All right. When you pour this, I always said this too. When you pour a beer out of a tap, all right, you're behind a tap, and when you're pouring the beer coming out of the faucet on the tap is lighter than the beer in the glass, right? The denser the accumulation of beer together makes that beer look darker. But when it's coming out of the faucet, it's lighter. Whenever I poured a Coors Light, or for that matter, a Bud Light, really, too, it literally looked almost as clear as water coming out of it.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yep.
So there you go with that. But anyway,
the portions that I had on my
you made yourself another one, didn't you?
The portions that I had was enough to make 1.5. So since I did another one, I have 3 of them. So this is the third. So I don't care how many damn coffee beans I ingest. I'm gonna.
Well, my coupe is bigger than your coupe. So.
This is not a coupe, by the way. This is a Nick. That's a Nick and Nor.
That's a Nick and Nor.
Cocktail envy.
My coupe is bigger than your Nick and Nor.
Out of a Bushmills glass. Don't give us that.
My cocktail.
Your cocktail
is
bigger than his.
George Carlin always said the word cocktail always depends upon how it is said. Like, ladies, would you like a cocktail? That's nice and fancy, but hey, lady, you want a cocktail? That's a whole different meaning right there. Yeah.
Not so much. Hey, lady! No. That's not George Carlin. That's
God rest his soul.
Actually, not to digress too far away from what we're talking about, but I know. But I had to say it. I watched a reel the other day, and I remember the show. It was SNL's been big lately, right? Because they just did the 50th anniversary. It was very good. Very, very good.
I think
very
good. Better than the.
I haven't watched it yet. I gotta go back and watch it. I haven't watched it. Right.
Watch them both.
But in any event, that I watched the reel. I remember this episode. This is the early '80s. Jerry Lewis was the host, and the band was Loverboy.
We're living for the weekend.
Yeah. And Mike Reno, they interviewed him afterwards. Like they showed Jerry Lewis introducing him, and they of course the first song they played was "Working for the Weekend," of course, right? And but they went to it as an interview, right? And then Mike Reno's sitting there, and he's talking about the fact that he remembers that he was so in awe because it was all the players on SNL, and it was SNL, and even back then in the early '80s, it was only SNL was what 7 years old at that point, right? But Jerry Lewis, right, and these people, and they were enamored. They were, in their minds, like when we were listening to Working for the Weekend, we were enjoying it, but they were starstruck. They were like, if we were in a band and we had started to make it, then, we still would have been where they were, in mindset and everything else. But in any event, their dressing room was right across from Jerry Lewis's dressing room, and Mike Reno says he got up and he walked out to go somewhere. Right? He opened the door and he walked out. As he's opening his door to walk out, Jerry Lewis is opening his door to walk out, and he looked at Jerry Lewis and he did a Jerry Lewis like, "Hey, lady, okay," and Jerry Lewis looked at him and did the same thing right back to him. Right? They wound up actually getting along so well. They went out to dinner a couple of times that week. It was great.
To hear that story, that's incredible. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is our St. Patrick's Day show. Right, because we go every other week in St. Patrick's Day. We didn't want to do it after the fact, but we're talking music right now. Yep. If on St. Patrick's Day, what is playing on your speakers?
Well, I've got a very extensive St. Patrick's Day playlist, but there's always a lot of Dropkick Murphys.
Yes. Thank you for Dropkick Murphys. So
But I also have some Dubliners. I got some young Dubliners. I got some classics mixed with the punk.
Some Irish Rovers in there.
Irish Rovers, sure.
There was an Atlantic City Beer Festival was it 2 years ago now, John?
2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. Dropkick Murphys were there 2 years ago. And it was freezing that day.
And it's funny because it was freezing and everyone was drinking. Where the Dropkicks were playing was not overly crowded. It was a big field. They were there late. They were a little pissed off that they were late. There's something going on. It was really strange.
Their flight down was delayed.
But Carrie had a bone spur issue in her heel. And that was it was livable.
Fortunately, there was a tent with a chair that
there was occasion, but it was kind of bothering. But then you go and see the Dropkicks. You go see the Dropkicks, and you cannot help but bounce. You're jumping.
I get that. Yeah,
you jump the whole show. She had to go for surgery after that show.
I don't know, but
it is what it is, and that was a fantastic show. As pissed off as they were because their flight was delayed and everything else, they came out and they put on. And I got to say one thing: the Dropkick Murphys are one of the things I point to that got me through COVID.
Oh, right? Really? Yeah.
Well, they did the St. Patrick.
They came down to Rhode Island and hung out with him, drank with him every night. It was amazing.
Yeah.
They got through COVID. More so than this podcast did.
This podcast did not exist during COVID. You're talking about the other one. You're talking
not this
about
podcast. The other podcast.
No, on St. Patrick's Day, they did a concert from Fenway.
Yeah. And then they did live.
They did.
Live. It was fantastic. They debuted Nick Jones Stole My Pudding during that, if you remember.
Watching that show on my couch here. I'm going, oh my God, these guys are amazing. I can't believe they're doing this.
It was fantastic. And the drone camera footage was amazing.
Yeah.
And the best part about that is if anybody who knows me, who's followed me on Facebook or anything like that, they all know who the Centaur is. The guy who lived above me in Rhode Island, who was always...
The Centaur made very many appearances
on the Locker
Room Guys show.
But during that particular concert,
as has that siren too.
It's funny. Anybody who watches the other podcast that John and I are on, they're using the sirens coming from my microphone, not John's. This one's coming from John's.
It's not mine.
Oh, that's coming from Tom's?
Not mine.
No, it's not here.
Oh, it is mine.
That was yours, Dave.
It is mine. Ever since I gave my microphone the afro, I don't know where it came from.
You know.
So what I mean by the afro is when you get because my microphone never had the cover on it. It's got the cover on it now. So that's an afro.
His microphone practices safe sex.
But at any rate, so that show by the Dropkicks was amazing because I'm drinking Guinness. I'm drinking Jameson's. I probably went through about 8 Guinnesses and a whole bottle of Jameson's.
Now, he's referring to the Dropkicks live show from Fenway during COVID. He's not referring to the Dropkicks at the AC Beer Fest because he wasn't drinking Guinness during that. He was drinking
a lot of other stuff.
He was drinking Mermango.
There's a lot of coastal I drank.
Nautical Twilight.
French cider, by the way, at that one. There was a lot of stuff I drank during that. But the one during COVID, I went through a whole bottle of JMO, probably about 2 4-packs of Guinness. And I was singing along with the Dropkicks, probably getting revenge on my neighbor upstairs.
Oh, yeah, there is no doubt, yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's this. So he was apparently a music producer. He was always stopping around. That's why I call him the Centaur, because his feet were always in his tea lands. And there's one point.
That's Timberlands for you guys that don't know the lingo.
But I went up there once because it was like 3 a.m. He's still blasting his music. And so I just go up the stairwell. I am just so friggin' exhausted. I knock on the door. I hear him yell something to me. I'm like, dude, blah, blah, blah. And I start yelling through the door. He's not coming to the door, so I walk away. He finally comes to the door, says something to me. I don't even know what the hell he says. I just look and go, just turn down the music. And he turns away and goes in his apartment. It wasn't until I got to the stairwell, I'm halfway down the stairwell, I realized that dude was wearing a crown. Like, what the hell? So before that, I called him the Centaur. After that, I started calling him Chiron, because Chiron was the king of the centaurs in Greek mythology.
Sure.
So,
and he also did a really good job at putting letters on screens of videos.
It's that Chiron. That's Chiron.
It's Chiron.
Anyway, but yeah. So he did turn the music down.
About 40 years ago, it was a Chiron. now it's
but
a
he
computer.
did turn the
It's not a
music
Chiron.
down, so I was able to sleep that night. But yeah, we had quite a contentious relationship going. So during the St. Patrick's Day Fenway Park Dropkick Murphys concert during COVID, I managed to get a little bit of revenge. When you start screaming, "Take me!" Shipping up to Boston at the top of your lungs.
I got to ask you now. I love shipping up to Boston,
but you know that's
All right,
going to seriously piss off anybody who is a hip hop music producer because it's so fucking white. It's ridiculous.
And I don't know why it is. And shame me if you want, or tell me I'm wrong, or
your
tell me
favorite
right, whatever.
Murphy song is not Shipping Up to Boston, which is fun.
No, it's not. It's actually, and look, I mean, it's Red Sox related. It's Tessie.
Tessie's a beautiful song, and you know what?
I love that song.
Shipping Up to Boston is a song that gets you into the Dropkicks. It's not, and after you've been into the Dropkicks for a little while, it becomes not your favorite song by them. Mine's actually Rose Tattoo.
Yeah,
and the reason I love it, and that song will bring a tear to my eye, because when I found out why he wrote it, there's one thing that the I can't remember his name right now, the leader of the Dropkicks, the one who wrote the song,
the leader of the band.
But when I found out why he wrote the song, it's very much it's very similar to the way my life progressed. He was raised by his grandfather, and his grandfather passed away, and he wrote this song in honor of his grandfather. And when I realized why he wrote that song, that it hit home. So I've got very sentimental reasons as to why that's my favorite Dropkick Murphys song.
Fair enough. All right. Our next show is 2 weeks from tonight. It's 2 days after St. Patrick's Day.
We'll all still be hungover.
We will. Well, you know what? I mean, we'll be hungover on Tuesday from St. Patrick's Day, but you and I will be drinking more beer that night. So yeah, we'll still be hungover. So, so we got to come up with a plan for that.
Tom, do you have any ideas for the next show?
Tom should come up.
We got a couple ideas.
Because we know we've got we know that we have to do a Malort show at some point.
I got to get my bottle of Malort before we plan.
I've never bought a bottle of Malort. Are you really going to make me do it?
You can argue with Doug. Tom, if you agree to a Malort show, I will send you a bottle of Malort.
As far as alcohol is concerned, I love almost anything, but that stuff should be buried, man. It tastes like sadness and old feet. Nobody should be drinking. That is horrible.
You got to do it. You got to do it the other way. It tastes like old feet and sadness.
There's so Tom, not to shame you or anything. My youngest son, who's 20, he'll be 21 this year. He doesn't really drink, but he will drink with me every now and then on occasion. And when he was here last, he had me make him his first cocktail. I made him a White Russian, but you got to start him off easy, ease him into this shit. But we did this road trip where he picked me up, he lives in Columbia, South Carolina right now. He picked me up in Atlanta. I flew to Atlanta. We drove through we drove through Alabama, Mississippi, went to New Orleans, and then came back. When we were in Georgia, we stopped off in Athens, and we were at a bar in Athens, and they actually had a bottle of barrel-aged Malort. And being a college town, they weren't really all that keen on carding. And I had talked to him about Malort and how Malort is one of those things that no one in their right mind should ever ingest. And a lot of people in the beer industry are... Say it again?
Not on purpose, only on a dare.
But it's not on a dare so much, because the secret to Malort is it's really not all that bad. So
no, it's not all that good. It's horrible.
So
if somebody double dogs dare you, you're gonna have some Malort, but nobody should ever drink Malort on purpose.
Do you want me to drink Malort right now on purpose? I will do so.
No.
You know, you do that, then we know you're not too bright, and we don't want to do that.
No, see, I've got there is a saying that Malort has, which is called "weeding out the weak." They've got a great marketing campaign, but my point is, in that bar in Athens, Georgia, my 20-year-old son, who does not drink alcohol, did a shot of Malort with me. Looked at me, went, "That's actually wasn't that all that bad. I thought it was going to be worse."
Not bad.
So.
A second shot, it will really be that bad. Okay, let me draw some parameters. What are we talking about? A shot of Malort and a cocktail with Malort?
I don't know.
Let's put this to bed. We'll table this
let's
conversation.
not get crazy because a cocktail.
Well, let's set ourselves up for down the road when we all are in possession of Malort.
We're putting the ball in Tom's court here. Tom, what are we doing on our next show?
Pick a spirit.
I'm going to send you guys some ideas. You can let me know what you think.
All right, fair enough.
No.
We'll do it that way.
Tom, we have exerted our will upon you many times. Exert your will on us.
Well, he's
no.
But he wants
no
to
options. Said this is what we're going to do.
Okay, I will do that.
All right. Challenge us. That's what I think that's when we're at our best, is when we're challenged. This show was show started off as a challenge. Do a car bomb without Guinness, and then go from there. And that challenge spurred us all into doing these cocktails that we did. Right. So challenge us, Tom.
I can do it.
All righty.
Challenge us, and then we will go from there. There you go. All right. Works for me. There you go. All right. So we will get back to it after
in 2 weeks.
Hello. In 2 weeks on the 19th. We'll be back with some interesting ideas brought to you by Mr. Beer and Whiskey Whisperer.
I'm for you.
All right. On that note, we will wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website. All of the End of Chaser info for now. Asterisk. For now. Will be on the Logroom website, which is www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, which at this point is just Facebook. For now, more on that later. As we increase this, as we get closer to National Craft Distillers
John's
Day,
piqued my interest, so I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
and the Artisan Spirits Fest, but
Tom,
we got a couple months
show.
for that,
We need
but
to talk to you about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that anyway. So like us and follow us. So on Facebook, it's at End of Chaser, and of course, all of the shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logroom channel. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on Facebook and YouTube every other Wednesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Tonight was a little earlier. Next week it might be moving early. We'll just say 6:30, but it's usually a little earlier. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Pandora, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you'll find the End of Chaser podcast. And you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of cocktails and beer, but drink responsibly. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Because the next time we talk to you will be after St. Patrick's Day. So, Sláinte.
Yeah.
Sláinte. And we will talk to you then, folks. Take care. Cheers.